Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to News Dose, and we actually got a big announcement for Steam. Though I think Nintendo fans also need to perk their ears up here as well, because this could actually affect the Nintendo Switch successor. In fact, according to a leak from a prominent insider, that very much appears to be the case, and this is something that Nintendo fans have been requesting for a very long time. Now, we will also talk about Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, as reviews have been rolling out over the last 24 hours. And then we will also get into some Tomb Raider news, so do make sure to stay tuned for all of that. But yeah, let's just go and get right into the topic that you clicked on the video for. Square Enix finally decided that they actually like money. I mean, it's been a long time coming, but here we finally are. They are starting to actually make good decisions under their new leadership. As we talked about a week or so back, they are moving away from exclusivity, so we should start to expect to see some of those Final Fantasy games come over to more platforms in the future, which I do hope that includes the Switch 2, and then this also applies to the Kingdom Hearts series. Now, honestly, the handling of this series historically has been a complete mess. This is one of Square Enix's biggest and best franchises. It is their third best selling franchise, just period. And for me, I would describe it as a magical experience. The only problem with the series, though, is that Square Enix, again, historically hasn't been consistent with how they release its games. One time they might release it on, the PlayStation 2, then it'll go over to the 3DS, and then they have one come over to phones. And, weirdly enough, even the spin-offs are important to the story. So it's just kind of this whole convoluted mess. But I will say, it actually is worth it. Don't be intimidated just because there's a lot of games in this series. It really is a magical franchise worth experiencing. And that's why I'm happy to say that Square Enix is streamlining it by putting it onto Steam. This includes Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5, also Kingdom Hearts 2.8, and Kingdom Hearts 3 plus Remind, which is its DLC. Now, if you're unaware of how all of this works, these are compilations. 1.5 and 2.5 includes 6 different games, and then 2.8 includes another 3 games, and then, of course, you have Kingdom Hearts 3 and its DLC as well. So you're going to have around 10 games to play, which is a crazy amount of content. Again, it actually is all important to the story, which is one reason I think that they're doing this right now. If you think about it, Kingdom Hearts 4 is on the way, and we actually heard not all that long ago that it might be out as early as next year. So really, now is kind of the perfect time to jump into the series and get caught up on its story. Even better here, though, is that I think this will fit perfectly on a Steam Deck, and more so here, that kind of leads me to the Nintendo Switch. This is a series that Nintendo fans have been requesting for such a very long time. Yeah, Square Enix, they did a cloud version on the Switch, but as for a local experience, it's actually crazy that Square Enix hasn't ported them over yet. They're just leaving tons of money on the table. Again, I feel like they're kind of allergic to money. These games really do fit Nintendo perfectly, but that's kind of been the thing about Square Enix under their old leadership. They just so often didn't make business sense, and they continuously made head-scratching moves like this. Whatever the case may be, though, we do know that the Switch successor is on the way, and with Kingdom Hearts 4 right around the corner, again, Square Enix has all of the reason to finally port these games over. In fact, Midori, which we've talked a lot about her on the channel here recently, she has a pretty good track record as an insider, and she's now claiming that the entire Kingdom Hearts series, including Kingdom Hearts 4, might come over to Nintendo hardware. She also went on to claim that Square Enix has more Kingdom Hearts collaborations planned, so if you are a fan of the series, you might want to go ahead and keep an eye on that. But yeah, I mean, I think this does make a lot of sense. Of course, Square Enix just here recently vowed to be more multi-platform going forward. And the other thing, I've talked about this several times already, but for Square Enix to skip the most popular Japanese console is beyond a mistake. Nintendo is absolutely dominant in Japan, and a lot of Square Enix's franchises appeal to that Japanese audience. So if there's any way for them to get these games running on the Switch successor, then yes, they need to absolutely make sure it happens and they need to make sure it happens day one. Don't make this a staggered release. Launch Kingdom Hearts 4 side by side with the PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox day one, because this would be huge for Square Enix, it'd be huge for fans, and it would also be massive for the future of the Kingdom Hearts series as well. Now, I personally think there's a very good chance of this happening too, and I also have to say that if this actually launches during the same year that the Switch 2 releases, talk about starting off with a bang. This could potentially be an early must-play game for the Switch successor as long as it actually runs well on that platform. Either way, though, I do think it's great to see Kingdom Hearts on Steam. I might actually pick them up for the Steam Deck myself and replay through them, but I do want to hear from you all. Have you played through the Kingdom Hearts series yet? And if not, does this news here get you excited to jump in? Now, staying on topic of Nintendo, of course, we do have the launch of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door this week. For more than a decade, it really has been viewed as the pinnacle of Mario RPG style of games, and we're finally going to get that experience back on the Nintendo Switch. It's actually kind of crazy that Nintendo hasn't listened to fans when it comes to the newer Paper Mario games, but I digress. Paper Mario reviews have been rolling out over the last 24 hours, and as you probably guessed, one of Nintendo's most praised games ever made is still being praised in 2024. It currently has an 89 overall score on Metacritic as of this recording, making it the second highest reviewed entry in the series, only behind the original Nintendo 64 game that kicked the series off, which has a 93 overall score. So yeah, the Thousand Year Door remake is actually being reviewed higher than the original GameCube title, which has an 87. Now, what you'll probably notice here, though, is that the three highest reviewed games all support, of course, that classic turn-based combat. Who would have guessed, right? Not us fans. It's been asking for this for years and years. Maybe Nintendo, I don't know, should actually listen to us and bring that combat back for a brand new title. But yes, the higher reviews in the remake, I think makes sense. From what I understand, it's mostly a faithful experience with some quality of life changes to its gameplay. Now, the changes that they did make, though, seems to be a few tweaks to its dialogue. They did remove some catcalling that I know of, and they also made one of the characters trans, which there has been a debate if that corresponds with the original Japanese dialogue, and there's some controversy surrounding that. But all of that is really up to you and whether or not you think it's a big deal. I'm not going to try to sway you one way or the other. That is completely up to you. At the end of the day, though, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is an excellent game, and that's what it's being praised for. Now, personally, I hope it sells well. That way, us longtime Paper Mario fans can send a message to Nintendo that we want more of these traditional turn-based Paper Mario games. Again, I just think it's so crazy that for whatever reason, Nintendo refuses to listen to these requests. But I'm going to cross my fingers here and hope that the Nintendo Switch 2 will finally deliver the legitimate Paper Mario 3 experience that we've all been asking for far, far too long. Come on, Nintendo. Let's finally make this happen. Now, speaking of classic games, earlier this year, Crystal Dynamics brought back the original Tomb Raider trilogy with an HD collection. They actually did a pretty good job in reviving these games for modern platforms, but there's still one key thing that's missing, and that's a physical version. For those that grew up with this series, they might love to have a physical version that they can hold onto for the foreseeable future and display on their shelf. Well, fast forward to today, and they just announced a physical release in partnership with Limited Run Games. Now, I do understand that not everybody loves Limited Run Games, but I've actually bought several games from them, and outside of the long wait and, them charging immediately, I'm glad that they exist because they've done a good job in giving fans physical games that we might not otherwise get. Now, something about this announcement, though, is that in this specific case, you can actually pre-order this game on Best Buy, which I'd say is the preferred method here. That way, you won't have to pay extra for shipping and handling, and Best Buy also doesn't charge you immediately like Limited Run Games does on their own website. Nonetheless, though, there are a few options to choose from. You can get the regular standard edition for $30. Personally, I think that's a great price for this compilation. But if you want a deluxe edition with a steelbook and some other goodies, you can actually get that on Best Buy for $50. Or if you're just a massive fan with a hole in your pocket, you can also get the collector's edition, which includes Lara Croft's pistol replicas in a shadow box. There's also a set of posters, premium trading cards, there's a steelbook, and it even includes 3 different figurines that matches the in-game models for each game. Truthfully, I think that's actually a pretty cool collector set, but it is set at a premium price, which is $200. So, it's really up to you if you think the price is justified. Again, though, I do love the fact that this collection is actually getting a physical release, and according to Best Buy, it will launch on September 24th. Anyways, though, that's going to be it for this episode, but as always, do hit that subscribe button, and until next time, peace out.